Good morning, all. I'm Dwight Keene. I'm chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by fellow commissioners, Susan Duffy and Commissioner Andrew French. Commissioners, before us this morning, first up are 27 items on the consent agenda. We've had the opportunity to review the draft of each of these matters, so I would turn to each of you and ask if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll begin with Commissioner Duffy.
Good morning, everyone. I have no comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
Then move to second. We approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. The next and final item for our consideration this morning is a discussion item involving Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, docket number RM, pardon me, 21-17-000. And our presenter this morning is our litigation counsel, Carly Massentine. Good morning, Carly.
Good morning, commissioners. On July 15th, 2021, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, issued an advanced notice of proposed rulemaking in docket number RM 21-17-000, stating its intent to present potential reforms to improve the electric regional transmission planning and cost allocation and generator interconnection processes. The KCC intervened in this proceeding and filed comments on October 12th and November 30th, 2021. On April 21st, 2022, FERC issued a notice of proposed rulemaking. This proposal included reforms on two FERC controlling documents, the pro forma open access transmission tariff and the pro forma large generator interconnection agreement. These reforms were intended to remedy deficiencies in FERC's existing regional transmission planning and cost allocation requirements. Upon issuance of this proposed notice of rulemaking, FERC once again invited comments from stakeholders. While initial comments were due on August 17th, 2022, our DC FERC counsel has advised we may still file comments and has prepared comments for that purpose. With that, I recommend authorizing the DC FERC Council to file initial comments in FERC docket number 21-17-000.
Thank you, Carly. Is there a motion?
I will move the commission authorize counsel to file comments on behalf of the agency in FERC docket number RM 21-17-000 and in consultation with the commission to take such action therein as necessary to protect the interests of Kansas ratepayers.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
I would just briefly add some discussion. I want to thank the staff for helping put these together. I've reviewed the draft comments that were, I think the final version was provided to us yesterday, and I think they do a really good job of striking a good balance there. I would say pragmatic instead of being political. They search for sort of the real world way to help all the folks across the state. The transmission is a particularly difficult area. It's an area of cooperative federalism where the state and the federal government have to share jurisdiction. And I think these comments do a really good job of cooperating with our federal partners where we see joint interests that are aligned, but they also push back very strongly in areas where perhaps we don't feel aligned, or where we need to protect our jurisdiction, or where we feel that federal efforts might hinder what we're doing really quite well on a regional level. And so again, I commend all those that participated in putting the comments together to strike that balance. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Duffy, any comments?
I would heartily subscribe to the comments by Commissioner French. Ultimately, our responsibility is to ensure the affordability, reliability, and resilience of our service in the state of Kansas. I do believe that after Storm Uri, for me, the dynamics changed. While I believe we have a robust and good system within our RTO, SPP, I do believe that there is a lot of room for improvement on a nationwide basis, acting with FERC to ensure the reliability of our system, not just in our state in a day like today, but in those most extreme times when it was critical that energy was moved from one place to another. It is so similar to the interstate highway system that was developed in 1956 by Kansas homegrown US President Dwight D. Eisenhower. It was for reliability. It was for safety of the country. It was a defensive move to ensure that we could get across this nation. We now are moving power across the nation. I believe we strike a good balance between what we believe is essential and that we're doing well with what could be with action by the FERC to ensure, again, that reliability during all times. And I think, and I thank staff for their hard work in this endeavor.
Thank you, Commissioner Duffy. I have some comments as well. Perhaps a bit of difference with my fellow commissioners. If approved, the motion before us this morning approves and directs Commission Council to file with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, initial comments in response to a FERC notice of proposed rulemaking. In essence, this FERC rulemaking proposal entails a comprehensive review and consideration of reforms to the nation's electric regional transmission planning process. This FERC-directed review is quite extensive and potentially very consequential in its impact on and its implications for electric service reliability and electric utility customer rates. This morning, I will be voting in opposition to this motion because I just don't agree with, and I cannot support many of the opinions, premises, pronouncements, and conclusions being offered by my colleagues in their initial comments. We have honest but significant differences of opinion on these matters. Last week on August 17th, I separately filed with FERC my opinions and comments in opposition to various aspects of this FERC rulemaking proposal. My comments explicitly noted that they were offered as personal comments and not necessarily those of the Kansas Corporation Commission. In sum, my filed comments expressed in part the following concerns about these federal transmission rulemaking proposals. First, these proposals extol perceived virtues or benefits of an extensive transmission build-out to enable the transition to renewables without, in my opinion, a serious commensurate concern for controlling the costs to ratepayers associated with realizing these transmission goals. Second, the proposed rule fails to acknowledge the developing reliability concerns associated with a generation mix that is not balanced among a variety of baseload fuels in the near term, and that is too heavily weighted in the near term to intermittent renewable generation resources. Third, the proposed rule fails to acknowledge a growing concern that dispatchable thermal and nuclear generation are being retired too rapidly in the transition to renewables, and that these rapid retirements may lead to system instability, constrained supplies of energy, and serious customer service reliability issues. Fourth, while FERC through this National Transmission Planning Review process clearly seeks to work collaboratively with the states to examine the shortcomings of the long-term transmission planning process, these FERC proposals set forth in this rulemaking effort are too prescriptive, utilize excessive top-down mandates, interfere with the jurisdiction and authority of the states, fail to adequately, in my opinion, recognize regional differences, and could stifle the innovation and development of the most reliable and beneficial solutions at the least delivered energy and capacity cost. KCC policy must consistently be constrained by and remain within the acknowledged boundaries and limits of the commission's legislatively delegated authority. The initial comments, which are the subject of this morning's motion, contain many public policy statements, pronouncements, and conclusions, which are very detailed and nuanced, and if implemented, could have significant, consequential, far-reaching effects and implications on regulated electric utilities and Kansas ratepayers. What remains to be determined is how these matters are ultimately considered or vetted and resolved. That concludes my comments. Any further comments? We have before us a motion and a second. I will at this time call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Commissioner Duffy, I think you were on mute.
Sorry about that. Aye.
We heard you that time. Okay. All those opposed, I'm voting no, as I've indicated, and I do vote no. Two commissioners having voted in the affirmative, one having voted in opposition, the motion is adopted and approved. Is there anything further, commissioners, to come before this meeting of the commission? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I think you've frozen a little, Susan, but we did get a second. All those in favor? It's moved and seconded.
Everybody has frozen.
Fair enough. All in favor, by saying aye.
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 Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you all. Take care.